this Yeshua, this Messiah, is the one that by him all things were created, and all things were created through him. He is before all things, and in him all things hold together. He's before all things. Is he before God himself? Well, no, but the only way that's possible is because he is very God, so he doesn't have to compete with himself, right? He is before all things because he, in very nature of being God, Yeshua doesn't have subservient to God when it comes to identity. They're one and the same being. Different persons, but same being. All right, so again, I was going to look at some of the Greek, but I don't think I need to at this point in time. I don't think we got time to look at all those nuggets. There's nothing really in the Greek that you couldn't gather from the English anyway, so we'll forego that. And then moving along in this series, we return to two passages out of the book of Job, and I'm concluding with these sets, is that the CARM chart shows us that Job recorded that the Spirit had this creatorship relationship or creatorship title attributed to him. Depending on how you look at the verse, this one's a little, but in my opinion, a little maybe weaker argument, but we'll just pull it in just because CARM did. Job 33, and which verse do we want? Let's look at 33:4 first. Job says, in the ESV version, "The Spirit of God has made me, and the breath of the Almighty gives me life." Now, the Spirit of God made me. Let's turn to the Hebrew and see what this word made means. The Spirit of God, the Spirit is Ruach. God is the word El, as in the shortened form of Elohim, so El, and has made me. Asatni. And this word Asatni, Strong's number 6213, is the same word rooted as this one. Let me pull up the Hebrew for you one more time so you guys can see this. 46:39 here, right? Ma'aseh 46:39. Now let's go over to Job 33:4. I think it's related to the same word. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong here. Asa is when I click on it, 62:13. Asa. And when I click on the Strong's number for this one, Ma'aseh, which is from, when I click on it, 62:13. Asa. So I wasn't wrong. Nice to know my Hebrew still works for some verses. So the point I'm trying to make is that this word is a very, like I said, a very generic word in Hebrew that refers to a work, a deed, something that's concrete, an accomplishment, an achievement, an action, an activity. Right? It's a very practical word. It's not mysterious or ethical. It's not something that only exists in ideal or in the mind or metaphysical or something to that effect. The point is, when Job says the Spirit of God made me, he's using similar verbiage that's found throughout the Tanakh that speaks of God making things. God making things. Now, how is it that the Spirit made Job? Well, I mean, again, we can look at different versions. Job 33:4 in the Greek, the divine spirit, the pneuma theon to poiesan, made me. Poiesan me, actually. The Spirit made me. Even in the Greek, which is the Septuagint version, we're using the same verb. The Spirit is giving creatorship to Job, what Job is saying. The Spirit of God has made me, and the breath of Almighty gives me life. Well, how is it that the Spirit made Job? Doesn't Job know that God created all things? Or wait a minute. Doesn't Job know that the Word, which was going to be made flesh, doesn't Job know that the eternal Word, which God is actually the creator of all things, like John is going to tell us? Which one of these passages is right is the point we're trying to challenge ourselves with. Isaiah tells us that God created, that God made things, using the Hebrew word asa. But Job tells us that the Spirit made, using the same Hebrew word asa, that the Spirit made him. What do you mean the Spirit of God? Maybe he means the Spirit which is God, right? Well, we've talked about this before. God's Spirit is a separate person. The Spirit of God and God's Spirit are not exactly the same thing at all times, and yet they are the same. God is a spirit, and the Spirit of God is God's Spirit, and yet the Holy Spirit is a separate person who does the bidding and will of God, who is also a spirit. Okay, that can be a little challenging and confusing to us, I know.